Well, it's that time of year again. We are in Germany for Europe's premier hunting and outdoor trade show, IWA Outdoor Classics 2018. And of course, there's plenty to see, but as usual, guys like Giles from the Airgun Gear Show and Steve from AEAC have already done fantastic videos covering all the new stuff. So instead of trying to give you an in-depth review of the whole show, I'm simply going to show you a few stands and products that caught my eye and give you some insight into what interested me personally. And as usual, we're going to start in Hall 7A. 7A is where most of the airgun manufacturers are located. And even though competition shooting isn't really my thing, I always enjoy the fine work bow and Steyr stands. The Germans and Austrians may have some seriously tight airgun laws, but they definitely know how to build a good rifle. The two best pellet manufacturers are here in Hall 7A as well, JSB and H&N. The first booth we're going to take an in-depth look at is air arms, and usually there isn't anything mind-blowing or revolutionary to see here, but sometimes it's the small things that make the biggest difference, and I was extremely happy to see that Air Arms had decided to regulate their S510. The S510 is a fantastic PCP, incredibly reliable and very good looking, but the lack of a regulator was one of the things that made me sell my S510 a few years ago, and I'm really glad to see them take this gun to the next level. Also, I might add, the walnut stock looks really good on the Ultimate Sporter. FX Airguns was once again the center of attention. Their stand was so full you could hardly walk through it, and at any given time you could bump into some very recognizable faces. Let's see, we have Mr. Terry Doe, we have Steve Shelley, we have Jörg Sprav, we have Ted, Justin Jacobson and Giles Barry, we have Oscar Gillenhammer from Scandinavian Airguns, and Masood from Eagle Vision. But what's all the fuss about? Well, firstly, there's the usual wall of FX that in itself is enough to make anyone drool, and there are some cool multicolored Impact X's on display, but the real fuss is about something else, something new. And here it is, the FX Dreamline. Which one? Well, all of them. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is one rifle that is very, very modular. It can be changed into different configurations, it can be upgraded, so you can have a traditional looking rifle, a bullpup, or a field target gun, or even something tactical looking. The best thing in my opinion is not the fact that it is modular. What excites me is the fact that you can get all the adjustability of the impact on the crown, but at a much lower price. So for less than $1,000, you can get a gun with an externally adjustable regulator, 2 manometers, a transfer port adjustment, a hammer spring adjustment, and the new X-barrel system. I know I say this every year, but FX has once again just launched themselves far ahead of the competition. At this point, I move to the next hall and decide to pop in at Night Force. If you've seen some of my long-range shooting, hunting, and varminting videos recently, you'll know that I absolutely love these scopes and I love this company, and there are a number of new scopes available this year. If you're into short to medium range shooting or hunting, the 1-8 ATAC-R or the 1-8 NX8 are definitely worth looking at. They're available in first focal plane, they have fantastic reticles in MIL or MOA, and as always with Night Force, you know you're getting an indestructible product that won't fail you in the field. These are truly awesome scopes. Moving on, we come to what is probably the best looking hall of them all, and here we find the big names like Blaser and Sauer, Sig Sauer, Zeiss, and Schmidt & Bender. This is where all the beautiful European rifles and scopes are, and you might think that an airgun stand would be a little bit out of place here, but not Daystate. Let's face it, Daystate guns are a work of art, and if you pick up one of the new Red Wolf rifles, you're likely to fall in love. The build quality looks fantastic, the stocks are beautiful, and these are electronic rifles, but if electronic rifles aren't your thing, the good news is that Daystate now has regulated mechanical rifles as well. I'm really happy to see this. Brocock also has a few regulated rifles now, and although these aren't really my cup of tea, you'll definitely want to look at them if the Daystates are out of your price range. Moving on to the next haul, we found the GRS Raffle stock stand. And this is always one of my favorite stands to visit because these stocks are just really exquisite. You could sit and look at them all day. I personally have always liked the laminate stocks the most, but the hype this year was around the new Bifrost composite stock. If you're worried about scratching up your laminate stock in the field, you'll definitely want to look at this. I had the privilege of actually visiting the GRS factory in Norway a week before IWA, watching how the stocks are made, and even taking the first ever shot with the new Bifrost stock. Those videos will be up within the next few weeks, so if you want to stay notified, hit the bell next to the subscribe button below. Moving swiftly on to yet another haul, we come across a small stand that immediately caught my eye. Revic Optics. At first this may look like a normal scope, but when you look closer you realize just how revolutionary this design actually is. This is a normal optical scope with the reliability of a Nightforce or Vortex Razor. It can work perfectly fine without any electronics, but it actually has environmental sensors and a programmable ballistics calculator built into it, and this works with your turret to help you dial correctly for windage and elevation. It's very difficult to explain without having you look through the scope yourself, but I'll put some links in the video description so you can check it out. I've done my fair share of long-range hunting over the past couple years, and I can tell you that this would change everything. And I know some of you are going to complain that I only use really expensive optics, so let's head to one of my favorite manufacturers on earth, Optizan. Why do I say this is one of my favorite manufacturers on earth? Well, aside from the owners being some of the most friendly and likable people I've ever met, the products they make give you everything you need for most shooting disciplines without the heavy price tag. I've seen this company evolve over the past few years, and I can tell you that they are really going places. Their reticle designs are great, their glass is very clear, and their manufacturing techniques are very reliable. If you're looking for a good scope but you don't have the money for a Nightforce or a Revic, take a look at the Optizan lineup. And that is where we're going to end this video, but keep your eyes peeled for reviews on some of these products over the next few months. There's some great stuff coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.